All right, howdy folks. It is another chilly November morning here in Southwest Ohio. It's warming up today more actually, and we've had a very cold, blustery few days here, so it's warming up nicely today. I'm actually letting the fire die down a little bit because it's definitely warming up, and I don't really need that blasting anymore. So anyway, it's an exciting time of year, as you well know from my videos, and if you know me personally, the cold weather season, the colder months definitely is a time I continue to get out, and in a lot of ways I continue to get out even more than in the summer. I definitely enjoy the cold weather and getting out and adventuring in it, specifically hiking. And obviously you've seen from my videos I do water sports, and particularly cold water immersion is a new thing I'm starting to do more this year. That's obviously something that you really get to really feel the full effects of in the winter time. But anyway, even though I get out still a lot this time of year, this is usually the time of year where I go and take stock of all my travels, what I've done, where I've been, and most importantly where I want to go and what I want to, the trips I want to plan for next year and then the following years after that. So felt inspired to make this video today and talk about how to make your ultimate travel bucket list. So I'll give you a few tips on that. The first one is to go in and make a list of your highest priority items. And for me, and I think for most people, it's going to be your bigger trips, your long distance trips, the ones that are going to take up a lot of time and money, resources in general. So I'm always changing that, with any of my travel lists, but I'm always updating that and taking stock of that. I suggest keeping it fairly small. I suggest 5 to 10, no more than that. Obviously for a lot of people that seems like a lot, but for me, with traveling being my passion, I'm always looking into trips, researching and discovering new places I want to go. So I mean, I could make probably a list with hundreds of trip ideas on there if I wanted to, but you definitely want to keep it more concise. So I suggest 5 to 10, no more than that. And so moving on to the second point, which is give yourself realistic expectations and goals once you made that list. I try to hit one of those bigger, higher priority trips each year, and be able to cross one of those off each year. This year I was able to knock one out right out of the gate. It was kind of an impromptu trip, but I discovered I had an airline voucher to use at the beginning of the year, and I had some flexibility in my schedule, and I also had a friend who had some flexibility in his schedule. So we flew out to southern Utah and did some hiking in and around Zion, out in Canyon Country in southern Utah, and just had a blast. So it was a great way to start the year, and I was able to get one of those big items on my list off the list right out of the gate. So it was awesome. So anyway, moving on to the third point, that is to make a list of lower priority items, that ones that are more local, closer to home, that aren't going to take up as much time and money. Obviously most people probably aren't going to have the means to go on a bunch of higher priority, higher ticket trips each year. So it's always good to have your mini vacations in there, your smaller trips, because those end up being great adventures in and of themselves. So I've been hiking the Buckeye Trail, obviously, and that's something that's local, something I mainly do on the weekends, and it's just become a huge part of who I am. I've been able to travel around my home state and just discover all kinds of different areas, all kinds of history that I never would have seen otherwise. So that's been awesome, and I'm getting close to finishing it. That'll probably happen by the end of next year, 2022, maybe go into 2023 a little bit, but we'll see. But it's I've made a lot of lifelong friendships and lifelong memories from it and everything. So yeah, it's been really awesome. So So yeah, so make that list of lower priority items, and you know, add that to your equation. And my fourth and final tip is just to be flexible. You know, with all the changes, everything that's happened over the last 2 years or so, we've obviously seen the need to be able to be flexible. And you know, we've experienced so many changes in our world that none of us saw coming. So, but it's just a good illustration of how things can change. Obviously, things can change just in an instant in our world. So you've just got to be prepared for that. Just, you know, life in general, but especially traveling. You've always got to be flexible with that. So, you know, I've got some international trips I want to take. Those are on my list, and just there's a lot of places, and some of the ones on my list that have, you know, there's a lot of heavy restrictions now as far as traveling to them and traveling around in them. So, you know, me personally, I don't like traveling anywhere with a lot of restrictions. So those items have gone down on my list, and you know, hopefully at some point in the near future I can raise them back up and go on those trips and get to experience them. But you know, we'll just have to see what happens. So, but yeah, you want to be flexible. You know, I've definitely found that those ad hoc, spur of the moment trips are sometimes the most, you know, the most fun and most exciting trips you'll go on. So I always like to try to leave my schedule somewhat flexible to be able to allow for those adventures to come in. So anyway, I definitely suggest you do that too. So anyway, those are all my tips. You know, I hope you all are inspired by this video and get a chance to make that list for yourself, and most importantly, get to go out and go on some of those trips here in the not too distant future. Go out and just experience life, experience the world, and just have a great time. So anyway, if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments below, and I will answer them as I see them. So take care, happy travels, and I'll talk to you all soon. Later.